Brian, tell us a little bit about, we're out here at the Gores Landing dock. Tell us what's happening tomorrow.
Yeah, this year it's our 15th anniversary, Pete, and it's we've swam across the lake here 15 years in a row. It's 5 kilometers across. My good friend George Bennett and myself, and there's 2 other people that are swimming with us. There's also a 100-kilometer bike ride around the lake, which is Jim Deviney is on that, and Cameron Deviney and Lee Appleton. There's also a 3-kilometer walk and a 6-kilometer walk along the lake here, just outside of Gores Landing here. And also Tammy Storing from London, originally from Coburg. She's going to walk from Coburg Courthouse right out to the Gores Landing dock here, which is 22 kilometers. So there's a lot going on. It's pretty good day all around for everybody.
What's this surrounding? This is obviously near and dear to your heart.
It's near and dear to my heart because
It's all right.
I had 2 brothers, Pete, that had muscular dystrophy, one in the 60s, one in the 70s. They passed away when they were 16 and 17. Back then, they didn't have any equipment or drugs or medicine or medication to keep them living longer. So, I mean, they had a young life there. So I started this swim 15 years ago in their memory. And yeah, it's today now kids with muscular dystrophy, they live to be maybe in their late 20s, early 30s, and they're making headway as far as drugs and that go, as far as kids living longer, but there's still not a cure for what has to happen for them to walk and run and play sports and everything like that, like other kids. But yeah.
Something like, how much have you raised, do you know?
I think to this point we've probably raised close to $500,000 in 14 years, and including this year we'll raise probably around 25,000. And yeah, it's been good. The town of Coburg's been really good in their support. The Yes We Can group has really been supporting us in the last 14 years or so, and they've been really good, and the people in Coburg have been great.
I was going to say, what's this mean to you when you, year after year, early morning on a Saturday, you have a busy schedule, people taking part has a busy schedule, but when you see the people waiting at the dock for you, you know each time you don't live here anymore, you haven't lived here for a number of years, but each time you come back, you know, this is why they say, I take it, this is why people say, you know, this is still their home, and everybody's here for you and your entourage.
Yeah, when we're swimming out there, Pete, we see the dock and people on the dock and the sport we have. We're pumped. Like, we're pumped. As tired as we are out there, we just the last 300-400 yards we just give her. And yeah, we can't thank the people of Coburg enough. And when I grew up in Coburg, I played sports here and went to school here, and it was just a great little town. And yeah, I just can't thank the people enough in Coburg.
And tell me a little bit about you. Tell me about what you were saying. You got relatives that are coming from.
I got relatives. My relative, my cousin Lee Appleton and Jolie Appleton. Jolie's going to go on to swim with us. She's 16 years old, and they're from Kelowna. And they flew out of Kelowna on Tuesday night, and it was basically on fire, the whole just outside the town, and it did burn some of the town. And their house was on the other side of the river. So they said, there's no sense staying here, we might as well go. So they wanted to come to this event, and it's just incredible that they've made it and followed through with this event.
I can't imagine what they're going through out there, and yet, like you say, like you talk about blood is thicker than water. Like, yeah. Here's something here where what must be on their mind must be incredible every minute of every day. And yet, as I say, it's not like they just hopped on a flight. It had to be planned. Yeah. And to be here for this is just no words.
Yeah, I can't thank them enough. I mean, it's just, here they are in the midst of this bomb, this fire, and here they are coming to Ontario, to Rice Lake, to do this event. Like, it's just unbelievable. I can't thank them enough. I mean,
you're no spring chicken. Talk a little bit about that. How old are you?
I am 67. I'll be 68 in October. So we'll see what happens next year. I'm going to be a politician and say we'll see.
The hardest part, well, like you say, talk about a little last year, how the quickest and the slowest that you've been. It hasn't been by your fault by any means.
Yeah, the big problem out there sometimes is the waves. The wind comes up in Rice Lake, and it's shallow, so it creates waves. So sometimes you're swimming into the waves and they're slapping you in the face. The weeds out here are pretty nasty sometimes. But a lot of times they've moved out the weeds, but sometimes they haven't. They get in your face, they get in your arms. Sometimes the cold, when the water's cold, it kind of gets to you a little bit. You're in the water 3-4 hours, and it's kind of hard to take sometimes. But you know what? It's nothing like these kids go through. That's what I keep telling myself when I'm out there. So I mean, that's why I do it, to find a cure and help these kids just be normal.
I want to ask you again, support you get from fire departments on both sides of the lake.
Yeah, the fire departments, the Keene Fire Department, it's been great over the years. This year we got the Baltimore Fire Department. They've been involved a few years. They take over halfway through, and yeah, they've just been great support of ours.
This is going to be a hard one, and I know it's going to be a hard one. After all these years, Brian, this is still that important to you. This is top of the list for you, I'm sure, every year. And what would your brother think?
Yeah, they'd be pretty proud. Pretty proud. Don't you?
George, tell me, you've been doing this ever since?
Yes, since 2009, I met Brian in the gym in London, Ontario. He was telling me about his experience with his brothers, and he asked me to swim across the lake. And my kids thought I was nuts, but I agreed to it, and I haven't regretted it for 1 second.
Do you ever get sore afterwards, or like?
We get sore all the time, and there's cold afterwards there too, but it's entirely worth it. Tyler Lynn, that has Duchenne's, that comes out, that we see at the end of the dock, to see him smiling at the end, it certainly is motivation. Certainly when you're training too in London in the pool.
Did you think it would mean that much to you on your first year to what it's become now?
It certainly did not, but again, to see the support and just to see the kids that our events benefiting, and just the gathering of community, particularly from Cobourg, London, Toronto, and Cobourg, but especially Cobourg. It's magical, the amount of support that we got.
As long as he's doing this, you're doing this?
Forever. It's a privilege to stand beside Brian, and as long as he's going, I'll be going too.